let's talk about sin. In Catholicism, sins are categorized into two main sections. There is mortal sins and there is venial sins. Mortal sins are known as grave violations of God's law that can lead to eternal damnation if not repented upon before death. In order for a sin to classify as a mortal sin, there must be several key characteristics met. First off, the sin must involve a grave matter, whether that be murder, adultery, or a violation of the Ten Commandments. Secondly, the sinner must have full knowledge of the sin. They must know that they are committing this, and they must be aware of the consequence that the sin brings. Third, the sinner must freely consent to the sin that they are going to perform. In short, mortal sins, you have to acknowledge and know that you are purposely sinning. Example is murdering someone when you know what murder means and what it foretells. Now, venial sins, on the other hand, are less serious breaches of God's law. A big part or characteristic of venial sins are that the sinner is not aware of the sin that they are committed, or if they are, it is not a specific grave matter such as murder. It could be skipping mass, for example. One purposely performed the act and it is a sin based on your religious obligation, but it is not a grave matter like killing someone or committing adultery. An example of venial sin can also include dishonesty, lying, etc., even impatience or anger. Those are the main two types of sin. There are also sins of omission. Sins of omission are sins committed when an individual fails to do something good that one is obligated to do. An example is helping someone in need. If you see someone on the side of the road and they need help crossing the street, but you don't help them, that could potentially be a sign of a sinful omission. Basically, it's the good things that we're supposed to do in life. For example, if someone's in the grocery store and they're owed 1 cent and they don't have that cent, offering that, it's a sign of doing good. Other examples are not speaking up against injustice or neglecting religious obligations such as attending mass, praying, etc. Basically, you're sinning if you're not doing the good that you're supposed to do in the world. Jesus actually created a list of these corporal works in Matthew. Matthew 25:31 reads, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left." And Jesus explains, "Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me.'" These are some of the acts that Jesus was talking about that are acts of omission. Lastly, we have the 7 deadly sins, which are pretty popular, but a lot of individuals do not know the distinct definitions of each sin. So the 7 sins are pride, which is defined